Hey everyone, so let's talk about multiplying fractions. It's something that sometimes is complicated, but let's highlight and see if we can make it easier. So, what are the signs? What are the signs for multiplying fractions? So, let me just kind of tell you. 1 is the universal sign of an X, but also you can have a dot, okay? Both of them mean multiplying. Whether it's fractions or whole numbers, they're both the same thing and they mean the same thing. Now, let's look at something that sometimes can be a little difficult. We're going to talk about what? Reduce? Why do I need to reduce? There's no reason for me to reduce. Yes, there is. Sometimes on fractions, we can end up with big numbers. So it's helpful if we can reduce. So let's look at reducing. Now, I have 2 over 4. When I have 2 over 4, I'm like, man, what can both go into 2 and 4? So let's look for a moment. What times what gives you 2? Well, of course, it's 2 times 1, right? That equals 2. Well, let's look at 4. What in the world goes with 4? So, let's check it out. I have 2 times 2 equals 4. But wait, there's still one more. I still have one more thing that can both go into 4. So, it's 4 times 1, which equals 4. Now, wait a minute. What am I supposed to do with all this? Well, why don't we check it out a little bit? Let's look at what 2 and 4 both have in common. So, 2 and 4 both have a 2 in common. So, since they both have a 2 in common, guess what that means? The opposite of multiplication is division. So, I can actually divide 2 and 4 both by 2. So, I'm going to go ahead and divide both of them by 2. Now, when I do this, I'm going to make a new fraction bar. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now, 1/2 is actually my reduced fraction of 2 over 4. So, let's go ahead and take a look at how we can actually do that with a fraction piece. Because here's the thing, when you really look at it, we really need to make sure that you understand how to reduce, simply for the fact of that it's something you're going to use all the way through high school and college algebra. So let's take a look at reducing. Now I have this problem here, and if you're in my class, this is what I like to do. I like you guys to highlight. So I'm going to highlight 2 over 6, and then I'm going to change colors. And I am going to do purple and purple. Now, I like to do this because it separates the actual fractions up. So let's take a look. I'm going to do a yellow numerator, which is 2, and a yellow denominator, which is 6. I'm going to put them in their appropriate positions so I know exactly what I'm looking at. So, can 2 be divided by 6? Well, let's check it out. So, for the 2, which is the numerator, I'm going to do 2 times 1 is 2. Well, let's look at 6. I have 2 times 3 equals 6. But wait a minute, I still have one more. So, 6 times 1 equals 6. Well, what do they have in common? Well, let's take a look. They both have a 2 in common. So, I can actually divide them by 2. So, I'm going to divide 2 by 2. And I'm going to divide 6 by 2. So, 2 divided by 2 is 1. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I have 1/3. Well, that's as low as I can go. But let me show you a trick. Where the 2 was that you had before, you can cross that out and put a 1. Okay? It's just replacing it because that's the reduced value. Now, I have my 6, which is right here, so I can replace it with a 3, which is right here. Now, let's take a look at the other one. I have 3 over 4. Now, 3 over 4, I have exactly one thing that can go onto both of them, which is 1. But let's check it out. So I have 3 times 1 equals 3. And then I have 4 times 1 equals 4. But there's still one more for 4. It's 2 times 2. Does the 3 factors and the 4 factors, do they have anything in common other than 1? No. So I have to leave it the same. So let's go ahead and put our equal sign. And let's do this. Now, let me erase. Well, I can't erase real quick. Okay, anyways. So, let's look. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So, I have 3 over 12. But wait a minute. Can't 3 go into 12? Why, yes, it can. So, we're going to divide each one of these by 3. When that happens, it ends up being 1 over 4. Well, that's my completely reduced fraction. So, sorry it's a mess on there. But I hope this helps you with reducing fractions. Thanks and have a great day.